Welcome to AI Crypto Pulse, your daily destination for fresh crypto updates, AI-driven insights, and the latest market trends. Recently, I've seen a lot of requests coming in from the live chat, over on Discord, and even on X, asking for a fresh update on Ondo. So in today's video, that's exactly what we're going to dive into, taking a closer look at where the market stands right now and what the price action could look like in the days ahead. Stay tuned. Before we get into Ondo specifically, let's first take a step back and look at the broader crypto market. Understanding the bigger picture always helps us figure out where individual altcoins might be heading. So let's start with the giant of the market, Bitcoin. Recently, Bitcoin managed to climb back above the 117,000 level. That's especially impressive when you remember how shaky things felt around the last Federal Reserve meeting. During that meeting, Bitcoin briefly slipped down to nearly 114,700, and at that moment, a lot of people were genuinely worried. Viewers were asking in real time if this was the beginning of another massive crash for crypto. But instead of spiraling down, Bitcoin surprised everyone by bouncing back and hitting new short-term highs. Now, to be clear, these aren't record-breaking all-time highs. The historical peak still sits closer to 124,500. But the fact that Bitcoin was able to recover so quickly shows just how much strength remains in the market. Even with that, there are still many open targets on the upside. So if Bitcoin does keep pressing forward, I wouldn't be shocked to see it knocking on the door of new records sooner rather than later. That being said, this video isn't just about Bitcoin. What really matters for today's discussion is how the market environment affects altcoins, and more specifically, Ondo. One of the most important dynamics happening right now is that Bitcoin's dominance is slipping. That means while Bitcoin is doing well, money is starting to flow more heavily into altcoins. Historically, this shift has been a signal that altcoins are about to have their time to shine. And when altcoin season picks up, projects like Ondo can end up being major beneficiaries. Over the last couple of years, you've probably heard the term tokenization thrown around a lot. It's been a buzzword, but in recent months, it's really started to take shape. Big institutions are looking for ways to participate in the blockchain economy, and one of the clearest entry points is through real-world asset tokens. These are coins tied to tangible assets or financial products, and Ondo happens to be one of the most talked about names in this category. That alone makes it stand out from the sea of altcoins that don't really have unique value propositions. Now, let's turn the spotlight fully on Ondo. The reason we're doing this update is simple. Even though the price action hasn't been particularly exciting over the last few months, Ondo still holds one of the strongest cases in the real-world asset space. And with all the partnerships and relationships this project continues to build, I believe it's only a matter of time before we see a strong rally. Looking back, it's been a tough year for Ondo. After a massive breakout rally in late 2024 that pushed the price up to around 2.15 cents by December, the momentum fizzled out. Since then, the coin has mostly been trending downward, which has definitely tested the patience of investors. Unlike some other altcoins that have managed to creep closer to their past highs, Ondo hasn't really been in that conversation yet. That doesn't mean all hope is lost. It just means Ondo's recovery might take a little longer to play out. But here's where it gets interesting. Even though the overall movement has been slow, there are still bullish signs beneath the surface. Over the summer, the project managed to break out of its earlier downward pressure, and that left many traders optimistic. Shorter-term predictions suggested that Ondo could work its way back toward the 2.30-cent level. That's not a new high, but it would still represent a strong bounce and a sign that momentum is returning. What really keeps traders watching closely, though, is the potential for bigger moves. In trading, patterns often hint at what might come next. And while Ondo has been grinding lower for most of the year, it has also been showing subtle signs that accumulation is happening. When you combine that with the broader environment of capital flowing into altcoins, it paints a picture of opportunity. Now let's talk about possible outcomes. In the shorter term, say the next few weeks or months, the realistic range many analysts are eyeing is between $2 and $4. This is a zone where Ondo could reasonably trade if momentum continues to improve. Those levels represent strong growth from current prices without being too far-fetched. They also set the stage for higher targets if this bull run keeps extending further into 2025 and beyond. For those who are longer-term focused, the conversation gets even more exciting. If altcoin season fully kicks into gear and institutional interest in tokenization keeps building, Ondo could find itself breaking past those mid-level resistance zones. Beyond $3, the next significant target many traders will be watching is closer to $4.60. That's a level that has been mentioned again and again because of its importance in past trading cycles. And if we really zoom out to the big picture potential, there's a case to be made that Ondo could climb much higher by the end of this bull run. Based on market cap evaluations and comparisons to other real-world asset plays, some projections suggest Ondo could push toward the $10 to $20 range in the long run. Now let me be clear, that kind of growth doesn't happen overnight. It would take continued adoption, more partnerships, and a steady stream of capital entering the crypto space. But the fact that these numbers are even being discussed shows how much potential people see in this project. So, where does this leave us right now? If you're trading in the short term, you're probably focused on locking in smaller profits along the way. Targets around $2.10 or slightly higher could make sense. Long-term investors, on the other hand, might be willing to ride out more volatility in hopes of much larger gains. Both strategies have their place, but it really depends on your personal risk tolerance and investment style. My perspective, Ondo may not be the fastest mover in the crypto space, but it represents something bigger than just another altcoin pump. It's tied to one of the most important narratives in the industry today, bringing real-world assets onto the blockchain. That narrative has staying power, and projects that position themselves correctly could thrive in the coming years. If you've been waiting for an Ondo update, that's where things stand right now. Short-term growth looks possible, mid-term targets are within reach, and the long-term potential remains one of the most exciting stories in crypto. But what do you think about Ondo? Is it ready for a breakout, or will it need more time before gaining serious momentum? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. This content is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be taken as financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. If you enjoyed this update, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the latest crypto news and insights.